Hi there, my name is Doug Allen. I'm a professor of economics at Fraser University. I teach a course called Economics 103, The Principles of Microeconomics. It's part of a series of courses in economics that work through economic theory. And economic theory is a way of thinking about the world. It's a very well-defined and logical model that helps us understand the world around us and how people behave. I often tell students it's a lot like thinking inside a box. And when we think about the world around us, it helps us, it constrains us, and assists us in how we look around. And even if you're going to think outside the box, it's important to know how to think inside and think logically and effectively. A lot of way when we're writing a sentence, if you're going to violate the rules of grammar, it helps a lot if you know what the rules of grammar are to begin with. The fundamental idea in economics, and the one that we started off with in microeconomic theory, is that everyone does the best they can under the circumstances that they face. So when the economist looks out at the world around us, that's the lens in which we look. We don't assume that people are irrational or they're crazy or that they're systematically making mistakes, although mistakes are possible. We think they're doing the best they can under the circumstances they face. Let me give you one example. Tonight when you go home and you go into your kitchen and you open up the pantry doors, look at the various cans that are in that pantry. You'll notice that you have a Campbell soup can, maybe you've got a can of pineapple, maybe you've got some other type of can. You'll notice something about those cans immediately, that even though some are different sizes, they have different volumes, they all have the same proportions. The height of the can relative to the diameter is the same regardless of the actual size of the can. The reason for that is that someone has sat down and thought about that can and thought about what's the most effective way to build one. And they've basically designed your average can to minimize the amount of material, the amount of metal that's in the can. And so your average can, the height of the can, is about 1 1/4 the size of the diameter of the can. Now, if you're thinking like an economist, the first thing you'll think about is, but there are cans in my pantry that don't fit that shape. Some cans are short and stocky. Other cans are narrow and skinny. If you think of a Coca-Cola can, it's narrower and it's taller than your average soup can. If you're thinking like that, then you're already thinking like an economist, because you're asking yourself, I understand that maybe an ordinary can minimizes the cost of material, but why would somebody build a different kind of can? And to answer that, you might just have to take an economics course. The typical course in microeconomics starts off talking about consumers and individuals and individual choice. And those choices can range to anything from how many apples you buy at the store to the choice of your spouse or what religion you might have. After talking about individuals, we talk a lot about firms and how firms make choices over how much to produce, what prices to have, whether or not they should discriminate against consumers, whether they should have tie-in sales. Maybe you've gone to Disneyland and you've wondered, why is it that I pay a price to enter Disneyland, but once I'm inside, the rides are free? When I go to Safeway, they don't charge me a price to get in the store, and when I get in the store, I have to pay a price for each item that I buy. Why is it that some firms price one way versus another? So those are typical kinds of questions that we would ask in a microeconomics class. Economics is more than just microeconomics. There is also macroeconomics. Macroeconomics is sort of the study of the general economy over time. So you're looking at the study of growth rates in GNP, the study of interest rate fluctuations, those sorts of things. But economics is also very wide in its scope as well. I mean, we have courses in labor economics, in taxation, in public economics. We teach courses in environment and regulation and in industrial organization. We have a lot of courses right now on game theory that look at strategic behavior and how people interact with one another and when they can't ignore the behavior of others. And so economics is a wide field that's generally looking at how and why people behave the way they do. As such, it's a competitor with other social sciences, and we're often trying to explain the same thing, but just with different theories. Hope to see you in an economics class.